Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm the Viking, of course, and this is my review for Superman and Lois, episode 4, titled Haywire. Now, I'm enjoying this season so much, I really am. And some of you guys have been coming back to me and saying, Viking, make sure you put spoilers in your title or at the start of the video, say that it's a spoiler review. So guys, sorry, this one is a spoiler review of Superman and Lois. Thanks very much for the feedback. Yeah, but this episode, not a lot happened in terms of spectacle or action or badass moments. It was more of a dialogue kind of episode, more of an episode that was moving the plot a little bit further, moving the character development a little bit further. And it was an interesting episode because a lot of stuff did happen. It just wasn't big action sequences or anything like that, which is okay to have as well, as long as it's interesting. And parts of it I found interesting, other parts I didn't. But the episode opens, of course, with a football game going on, and Jordan, he has his father's powers, or some of it anyway at least, is now with the football team. And he comes off the bench and he wins the game for the team, so he's a hero, you know. But Jonathan, the brother who was popular back in Metropolis, he was the quarterback, he was the star. Now in Smallville is kind of an outcast. He's not as popular, he can't make the team. And here's his brother who had never had any interest in football whatsoever. Now that he has powers, is playing and is the better player and everyone loves him and stuff like that. So that was going on. But also their grandfather, Sam, the general, of course, as well, Lois Lane's father, he comes near the end of the football game as well. He's going to spend the weekend or the week with his family in Smallville, and he sees Jordan playing, and he's taken aback by this as well. And he knows that Lois and Clark haven't been fully honest with him, because he can see that this boy has some sort of powers, you know. So yeah, he's a bit pissed off at that. But there's an interesting kind of dilemma, because when he's with Superman, he's very respectful towards Superman. He likes Superman. But when he's talking to Clark, there's a lot of tension between the two of them right there. You know, he likes Superman protecting the world, but he wants Superman to protect the world and be on call at all times. He doesn't want this person to be the father of his grandchildren or married to his daughter. So that's interesting to see there from the general big time. But like, in the episode, we get some cool kind of snippets. And look, so far this season has been a lot of kind of references towards Donner's Superman, Christopher Reeve, you know, and also Zack Snyder's Superman and Smallville. But this episode right here was more of a Smallville kind of episode and set up a lot of things from Smallville that we might say play out in the rest of this season. So we'll have to see how that goes as well. But yeah, so we got Lois Lane. She's trying to make Morgan Edge look bad. Of course, he's the new businessman. He's come to Smallville. He wants to set up jobs. Everyone loves him because there's going to be more opportunities in Smallville now and stuff like that. But Lois doesn't trust him because any other place he's gone to, it's been in a worse place when he leaves than before he came. So she's trying to figure out what exactly he wants in this town, in this community of people. So she investigates him big time, and she doesn't like what she finds, so she's trying to expose him. So now she's writing for the Smallville newspaper, and she's trying to expose him in her next article. But that's blocked by Morgan Edge and his kind of lawyer, his sidekick Leslie, who says, we'll sue you if you put this out there. And then Lois Lane can't. But the reason Lois Lane is trying to cause kind of a disturbance for Morgan Edge is because the town kind of hall meeting is coming up, the vote where Morgan Edge will get access to the mines. Now we don't know why he needs access to the mines until the end of the episode, which is pretty badass and pretty bad for Superman as the season continues. But she also wants Clark at the meeting because she can't speak out against it, because she can't write the article, so she can't because she'll be sued. So she wants Clark to be there. Clark has grew up in Smallville, everyone knows him, everyone respects him, respected his parents. So she thinks if Clark goes to the meeting and speaks up and speaks honestly what he thinks of Morgan Edge and what he's doing, the town might listen and they might block his kind of his access to the mines. But Clark can't go because he has to go off and do Superman duties, and Lois Lane is left hanging. Of course, Morgan Edge is granted the mines, and we get to see at the end of the episode what he's up to. So yeah, and there's a bit of tension between Lois and Clark, because Clark is trying to protect the world, he's trying to be there for his family, and he's a little bit upset at himself over that. But the reason he wasn't able to make it was because he was kind of taking on this other villain, a villain that kind of reminded me a bit of Jessica Jones, Kilgrave. You know, this is what the character's name is, but of course Marvel, DC, two different universes, two different brands. But this kind of character, Kilgrave, get to see him being transported from A to B in a truck. All these police officers or soldiers are there kind of guarding him and stuff like that. But of course that's hijacked. He gets out, he's able to get away, this Kilgrave character, a villain, and by the time Superman gets there, Kilgrave has escaped. And then the Lois Lane Morgan Edge town hall scenario was also going on at the same time, so that's why Superman missed that. But there's also an interesting kind of side story as well that brings us back to the pilot. Remember when Jordan was kind of being beaten on because he kissed Sarah, her boyfriend, and his friends came to fight Jordan and Jonathan. And that's the moment we realized that Jordan was like his father. He had powers, you know, he had X-ray vision or maybe super strength and stuff like that. But there's a person who was at that party who's also on the football team. That was Tag Harris. He got injured that night. He broke his arm. He broke his hand. But in this episode, he's starting, a lot of weird stuff starting to happen with him. You know, his hand's in a cast, and it's kind of annoying him, and it's kind of painful and stuff like that, and itchy as well. So he tries to just scratch it, but his hand goes really fast, and it appears that maybe there might have been Kryptonian stones or rocks at that party where they had it. It was like in the middle of nowhere, and while the explosion went on from Jordan, he may have contracted some of the rocks or some of the Kryptonian cells to give him powers for probably a limited time, and his kind of power this time was this kind of super speed, but he didn't really show it off. He just couldn't control it. He didn't know exactly what it was. So I thought that was interesting, but that brings me back to Smallville, because in Smallville, if you remember, somebody came across Kryptonian rocks. They would have powers for a limited time. There would be a threat towards Clark. Clark would have to fight them, you know, stuff like that. And it's kind of a recurring thing they did in Smallville that kind of got a little bit old over time, but it's just it's what the show was made for. That's what they got up to, you know. So it was okay for what they were doing. So I hope Smallville now in Superman and Lois, I hope it's not done the exact same way. I hope it's not every single episode, oh, we have a new villain because they touched a Kryptonian rock or something like that. I hope maybe do it this episode, do it in a few episodes from now, but don't do it every single episode, you know, because it's very much just ripping off Smallville. But of course there's homages, and they're trying to do their own thing as well. So I actually thought that was cool. But yeah, Tag Harris wasn't much of a threat or anything like that. He just couldn't control his powers. Jonathan and Jordan are trying to help him, trying to see if he's okay, because they can sense that there's something going on. Clark, of course, is off busy being Superman, but he has to come back in time to help his sons with Tag. So yeah, they sorted it out. And then there was a nice kind of reference or a name drop as well, that Tag was looked after by certain people, and he's gone off to a superhero school, or a meta-human school. So that was pretty cool, and that's where he's gone off to now. So maybe that was a name drop. Maybe CW or HBO Max are thinking of doing a high school or a boarding school type of superhero thing, which would be interesting. Look, a school kind of like Charles Xavier's school for the gifted, something like that in the DC CW world, in this Superman and Lois world, might be interesting as well. And you never know, Tag, we might see him again in the future at some stage. But yeah, the name dropped that he was gone to some special schools to control or learn how to do his powers. So I thought that was very interesting. So I think that's definitely a setup for something that's going to happen down the line as well. We also get some interaction between Lana and her husband Kyle. They're kind of going at odds with each other, because Lana was at a dinner and Morgan Edge was there, and he was kind of hitting on her. He was kind of a little bit weird with her as well. She works for him, of course, in one of the businesses that he has, but she felt very uncomfortable, and she kind of had an argument with Kyle. Said, why didn't you step in? Why didn't you say something? You knew I was uncomfortable. And like, Kyle loves Morgan Edge because he's bringing opportunities to the town, and he goes against Lois Lane every time she says something bad about him, because he thinks he's this great and savior for Smallville. But I think slowly over time, Kyle will realise that Morgan Edge isn't the guy that he think he is. He'll probably find out that Morgan Edge is probably what Lois Lane is trying to show the town of Smallville, which of course we know he is not the best guy, and we didn't know until the end of the episode how bad of a guy he really is. You know, we talk about his sidekick Leslie at the end of episode 3. We got to see that she has some Kryptonian powers, very much like an evil Supergirl or something like that. And at the end of this episode, we see them down the mines, and she's able to break into this wall because she has powers and stuff, and we get to see kryptonite there. So that's obviously going to be a big thing going on for the rest of this season. It looks like Morgan Edge was the only reason he wanted to be in Smallville was because of kryptonite and because of the power that this community might have. But at the start of the episode, we kind of got a flashback. I think it was 6 years previously in Saskatchewan, I think it was, and he found some red glowing rock or box or something like that. I don't know exactly what that's leading up to, but it was probably just a little reference for us to look, oh, he's been around this kind of power for a while, and he's known about it for a while, which will probably get the conclusion to what that scene was in the coming episodes and the coming weeks of the show. So yeah, he has kryptonite, and it's not just any kryptonite, it's X kryptonite. It's not kind of green, it kind of glows kind of greenish, but also a yellow kind of kryptonite as well. And basically in the comics, what this was to do was, I researched a lot of this stuff, yeah, getting my research in about the comics, but what this stuff can do is it can give people limited powers for a limited time. So I don't know exactly what kind of powers they get. Maybe it's similar to Superman. I remember that guy in episode 3 who went to kill Lois Lane, he had some powers as well. So I don't know if he was born with those powers, or if he was experimented on, or Morgan Edge was able to give him the powers. And maybe Leslie as well wasn't born of Kryptonian cells or alien technology, and maybe she was just being able to take this stuff that Morgan Edge has to give her powers. So that's going to be interesting to see how that unfolds. But yeah, this X kind of kryptonite, a yellowish kind of kryptonite, can give you power. So if I was to take it, or you were to take it, you'd have certain powers for a limited time. And maybe that's what Morgan Edge is trying to do, build his own army of Kryptonians or aliens or something like that, which could be pretty weird and a threat for Clark in the coming episodes. But also there could be some threats for his sons, because at that party with Jordan going off and causing the explosion, and then Tag Harris getting some abilities, I wonder, is there other people at that party who also have gotten abilities, or maybe Kryptonian cells have got on their clothes or something like that, and in the coming episodes we might see them get exposed to it. That would be very Smallville-ish in this show as well, because that's happened a lot in Smallville. But it will be interesting to see what Morgan Edge and his overall plan is with those ex-Kryptonian rocks, and what he's trying to do with it. Will he give more to Leslie to make her more powerful to defeat Superman, or will he try and build his own army, or maybe he wants to be a Superman type himself? You wouldn't know. But I thought it was actually a really good interesting scene that I want to touch on as well, where Lois Lane has a meeting with Morgan Edge and Leslie is there as well, and I actually thought it was pretty dodgy. I was like, Lois, why are you meeting this guy with nobody else around? You know, he could definitely kill you, get you killed like that. But of course she has Superman at the touch of a button, but if she didn't get to press the button in time, all it takes is a quick gunshot and Lois Lane is dead. But yeah, she stood up to Morgan Edge. She said, look, I don't trust you. I'm going to find out what you're doing in this town. I don't trust you. You're a big businessman, but why come here? And he had a kind of counter argument. He goes, you're this worldwide known journalist. Why would you come to Smallville when you're at the top of your game? And now you can't never write for a big journalist company again, or newspaper again. So I like the two of them kind of going at each other's throats. But even though Lois Lane knows that this guy is powerful, she just know that Leslie is this Kryptonian as well, or this powerful being as well. She wasn't afraid. She stood up to him, and I liked that a lot. And it shows that Lois Lane, in this season of Superman and Lois, she's in the title. She's not just a side character to be there for a shoulder to cry on for Superman or her kids. She's actually a powerful woman who is doing her own thing and trying to expose Morgan Edge, because she believes in this town and she wants people to be happy. She wants everything to work out. So I like that Lois Lane has her own arc. I like that Jonathan and Jordan have their arc as well, and Superman Clark has his arc. So everyone has something to do in this show. Nobody's kind of a side character. Even Lana and Kyle got a lot of exposure. We've got Sarah, she's got a lot of exposure so far as well. Sam the General. Loads of the characters in this show are not just there to be anchors to other characters. They're because they have their own story, and I think as a viewership we'll relate to some of these characters. You know, Sarah and Jordan have a lot to do with mental health, you know, stuff like that. So I think the show is good in that aspect where we can relate to these characters, and I do like that a lot. I really do. But also, yeah, Kilgrave was a bit of a threat this episode, and he had this kind of technology, probably alien technology, that was able to weaken Clark for a little bit, but Clark of course is able to overcome it and take out the machine and get Kilgrave. Yeah, so Kilgrave wasn't much of a villain or anything like that. He was just kind of a crazy guy who was able to use this alien technology. Where did they get the alien technology? That's a good question. But Clark was able to destroy it as well and go and help his kids and Tag, and then of course make it up to Lois for it as well. But at the end of the episode, I want to touch on lastly is we got a shot of Sam, General, Lois Lane's father, and he makes a phone call activating a certain procedure or program or creating one called 7734, which I think if you put it upside down is hell. So, and basically what this is it's kind of it's a plan to kind of counteract superheroes or aliens or beings or even Superman. So we know Captain Luthor told Sam that you can't trust Superman. He destroyed my world and he'll destroy yours. So Sam has been very wary of Superman lately, and maybe he doesn't trust him whatsoever. He thinks that he could turn just like that and destroy humanity. So maybe this code is putting something in place. If they ever need to take out Superman, if they ever need to fight Superman, they have something in place for this. So that was interesting right there. It's a program to fight aliens, or maybe it's just for superheroes, or maybe it's just for Superman himself. But also, Captain Luthor hasn't appeared in 2 episodes, and this is a character I've really liked so far. I really like Captain Luthor, so I'm kind of interested where he is right now, and I hope he comes back in the next few episodes, because I know after episode 6 they're taking a break for a while because Supergirl's back. But come on, Captain Luthor, some cool dialogue. he's not afraid of Superman. He's got a really cool, interesting arc, and that kind of clip or that image we got to see of bad Superman, evil Superman killing all his friends in an alternate world was pretty interesting. I mean, I haven't really got to see him since, so bring back Captain Luthor because I'm interested in him. But yeah, the show so far, I'm enjoying it, I'm loving it. I'm glad you guys are liking the reviews. Hopefully you like this one as well. Let me know below, guys, what your thoughts are on Superman and Lois as a show in general, and especially episode 4 titled Haywire. I've been enjoying it. Like, in this episode, not a lot of action happened. Not the villains weren't anything interesting or anything, but I thought a lot of the side arcs, the character development, the character interaction was pretty good, and I'm liking all the characters, so hopefully the quality stays up. But I am a little bit worried that the visual effects and the action wasn't in this episode. Maybe it was a story choice, or maybe it was a budget choice. We'll have to see how the visual effects hold up when they have to do another big action scene coming soon. But guys, thanks for watching. Give a like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on all the social medias. That stuff is in the end credits. And DM me, talk to me anytime you want about movies. I'll always reply and engage with you guys. But get in the comments, let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you in the next one, guys. Superman and Lois, pretty badass. I'm loving it a lot, so hopefully the rest of the season holds up to the quality and enjoyment it has right now. Catch you in the next one, guys. Enjoy.